I decided to do a quick review of the process of becoming a nurse in Sweden if you got your education outside of the European Union, because I've been getting a lot of questions about it. So I want to do a down and dirty quick review of the process to do that. Now, if you are another type of healthcare professional, a lot of the same processes apply. I will not be going through all that here, but you will be going to the same website, and many of the other healthcare licenses are there. So there may be some valuable information to you as well. For example, if you were a doctor and received your education outside of the European Union. But for all intents and purposes, this is a review of the process if you're a registered nurse from outside the European Union. I will say I have a bit of commentary I will be adding because even on the website, when you apply for things, it's not super clear. And even now, when I think I've got everything figured out, I have been learning some new things along the way. Another thing is, if you're watching this video, say 10 years down the road, processes may have changed. And so just be aware of that this is a very dynamic thing. And so what I'm saying now may not apply next year, 2 years, or 10 years down the road. But yeah, so let's get going here. So you're going to go into this website here, socialstyrelsen.se, and so you'll type in all that there. This is a government website that manages a lot of healthcare related stuff, and so if you want to get, for example, your licensing, this is where you're going to go. Now, most people that are educated from outside the EU, they will not speak Swedish, and so not a problem. There is this link here in English, and there's some other language links here as well, including sign language. We're going to click English, and then we are going to go to apply and register, and then apply license to practice, and then we're going to go to license to practice, and then click here, apply for a license to work as a healthcare practitioner, and then apply for a license. And then we're going to go to choose your profession. So here's where I mentioned this, if you have some other degree, like say you're a dietitian or a doctor, there are other licenses you can apply. I haven't looked at those in detail, but they do exist. But for this video, we are going to select nurse responsible for general care. And of course, we're talking about education that's been received outside of the European Union. So we are going to select here. And note this, because of the United Kingdom no longer being a part of the EU, this is very important to take note of here. The next question is going to be, have you worked with your license in the EU or EEA for at least 3 years? For myself, I come from America. I had not ever worked in the European Union or EEA, so I am going to select no. Application for a license for nurse responsible for general care. Apply for license, click here. Okay, so this is they say it's a 5-step process, but honestly, there are some smaller little processes that are, or I should say steps that are kind of hidden in here. It's not really quite apparent when you read through all this. I've kind of learned through my own experience, so I'd like to do a little commentary on that. But you've got these steps here. Now, you don't necessarily have to take them all in order. There are some things that you have to do before others, but this is kind of a general overview of how it is going to be. So the very first thing you have to do is step 1, you need to have your education assessed. So if we click on that step, we see here the process of doing that. I did that. I sent all my education to Social Styrelsen. They've got information here on how to do that. All these steps here, you're going to have to download and print an application form and send everything to this location here. There is also the option of doing it electronically, which I did, if I remember correctly. It's been a few years since I did it. So then you can send that in a PDF format. It says here it takes about 3 months. That definitely applies in my case. It was about 3 months for me to get an answer, so I was really impressed. I actually had applied trying to get a license in the UK, and I gave up after 4 years, after spending a lot of money, a lot of time, and running around chasing down documents. The process in Sweden is so much easier and a lot cheaper. Now, one thing to note, if you had your education outside of the EU and it was not in, and your education wasn't in English or of course Swedish, then you're going to have your documents translated into English. Okay, so now we're going to go back and look at those steps again. So after you've had your education approved, they will tell you that you can go on to the next thing. So here it says, and this is important to know, you don't have to speak Swedish to have your education assessed in step 1, but the past 2 through 5, you need to be able to speak Swedish. You send a certificate of your language skills at the latest when you apply for step 5. While waiting for your decision, you can practice a healthcare profession that does not require a license, for example, dental nurse or pharmaceutical technician. So for myself, what I did, I worked in home health after I completed a Swedish course. I have a video about that if you want to check that out, about learning Swedish at the University of Lund. So that is an option for you. There are other people that are in relationships with people here in Sweden. So because of that, they're able to get education at a discounted or pretty much free cost. And so they took things such as SFE, which is Sweden for, I'm not exactly sure what the I stands for, but it's for basically Swedish for foreign learners. I know some people that did that. I heard mixed things about it, but the nice thing is it's a lot cheaper than what I had to do, which I had to pay for my Swedish education at the University of Lund. But that was the only option I had, as I had no relationships with anyone here that I could, get into the Swedish system with. So that's important to know. Okay, so we have here step 2, taking a proficiency test. So we'll click on that. And here it says that once your education's been assessed, the next step is to take this proficiency test, and it will determine whether your proficiency meets the requirements for successfully completing the remaining steps. So what this is a knowledge test. It's a theory exam. So you sign up for that here. If you click on this link here, it takes you to the University of Gothenburg. We'll accept the cookies here. And we've got information about, it's called a Kunskapsprov, which means a knowledge test for nurses that have education from outside of the European Union and EES. This is all in Swedish here. The other option is you can just take it, copy and paste it, and then put it in Google Translate. So you're going to go on here, you're going to apply for the examination. So we can click here, and here is what that looks like. So you're going to give this information and apply for the exam. We'll go back here. An important thing to note, you get 5 tries on this knowledge test, and you get, after you pass this, then you are given permission to go on to, and this is where it's not real clear on the website, you are given permission to take another test, which is a practical test. So that has to do, basically, is a skills checkoff exam, and that's the one that I've actually signed up for myself. I'll be taking that next month. And so you can see here, you've got, these are like a written test, which is the first one that you're going to do, and these are like different dates and times, and these are the practical tests. So these are on your skills, and there's like 3 cities that you can take those practical tests at in Sweden here. So that's the information on that. So let's go ahead and go back, and we can go back again. Okay, so step 3 is going to be that you have to take a course in Swedish laws and regulations. Last time I checked on this, you cannot take this class. It's basically like a distance course, and it's through Umeå University. You can't take it until you've passed. You can't take it until you've passed the first 2 examinations, and then you can do this course. Let's go back. Now we've got step 4 here: undergo clinical training. So this is called a tjänstgöring. So it is a 3-month period of time where you will be working with another nurse, and they have a very long checklist of things that they're going to check you off on, like, can you give medications appropriately? How are you with leadership? How are you with giving report, and things like that? And so you'll have 3 months of training to do that, and then they will fill out the form, and then they will submit it to this government regulator, what would you say, this Socialstyrelsen, this government agency here, and yeah, then wait for a response on that. Now in my case, because I have finished the knowledge exam first, the theory test, but I haven't passed the skills checkoff yet, I still am allowed to start the Tjänstgöring, the service, I guess you could call it like an internship, if you will. I can start that before I take the skills checkoff, but in order to do that, your manager or your boss, they have to submit a request to Socialstyrelsen, and then they will write back and say yes, it is good to go, or no, it's not. So for me, it didn't take long. I think it took like 1 week, and we got an answer already saying that I can start my Tjänstgöring, my 3-month training. So I will be starting that here in a few weeks. And it's nice because it overlaps, so I can still be working on that while I am preparing to take my exam, the practical exam. Let's go back. We're going to take a look at the last step here. We have step 5, and it says to pay and send your application. And there is a fee that you have to pay at the end. Roughly, I know the kroner's not doing so good right now, but I think right now this is about 87 US dollars. This is 170 Swedish kroner, and how you send the money. And then it's just a matter of just waiting to get approval for starting your license. And then it's just a matter of just waiting for approval to get your license. And I think it's really good to note, there's some good information here. It says that how long does it take? It says assuming that you have all the required information, processing an application for a license currently takes about 2 to 4 weeks. There is more information about the entire process on the website. Let me back out here and see if I can find where it's at. Here we go. How long does it take for all 5 steps? The length of time it takes to complete the various steps that lead to a Swedish license will vary according to a particular situation. Usually takes 2 to 4 years. So for myself, as of this month, it is now September, the very beginning of September 2023, and I started this entire journey August 1st, 2021. So it's 2 years and 1 month that I have begun this. That first month I kind of don't really count it because that was just moving here to Sweden, moving into the apartment. I wasn't really focused on anything, it was just getting here. And then I started my Swedish classes on about the 1st of September, so I guess you could say this week would be the starting point. So we're at 2 years, and hopefully I will be done with my Tjänstgöring. I'll be done with that in somewhere around the middle of December, and then after that it's just I've got to pass that skills test, so I'll be doing that around October. I hope I pass. If I pass that, and then I do the 3-month Tjänstgöring, the service, the internship thing, then the next thing will be paying that fee. So hopefully it looks like it's going to be about 2.5 years approximately for me from start to finish of moving to Sweden, starting the language, doing all these steps here, and getting my nursing license. So hope that's helpful. I do have a lot of people that have asked me questions, so now I have a video I can just refer people to and they can go to. Like I said, it may change with time, but I think this is pretty stable for now in the sense that this is the government agency that regulates us, and so I don't think that will be changing anytime soon. So at least that information is there. So if you benefited from this video and you'd like to see more content, please hit the like button. Don't forget to subscribe. It helps the algorithm recognize me so that I will be able to make more content to be more helpful to other people. Y'all, I want to thank you so much for your attention and your support, and have a great rest of your day.